Coming up on Mountain News at 6, with just a couple of days left in the legislative session, one Louisville lawmaker is taking a new step to bring a controversial issue up for a vote. And the former library at one local college is now a state-of-the-art nursing education facility with the help of more than $16 million in renovations.
Plus, we are tracking some windy weather on Friday as rain chances are set to linger. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A tornado watch remains in effect for far eastern Kentucky, but is the severe threat dying down? First Alert meteorologist Cameron Aaron joins us now with the latest. Cameron.
Steve, you took the words right out of my mouth. The severe weather threat is quickly fading away as we go into this Thursday evening. That's the good news, but we are still tracking some heavier downpours for parts of the region. Zooming into a few heavy downpours pushing close to I-75 for Rockcastle County. Also a first alert for Jackson County into Estill County. This band of showers pushing into your direction. Also watching out for some more heavier downpours from Lawrence County moving into parts of Martin County as well. But again, all of this is below severe limits, and some more heavy downpours for southern Pike County, also moving into Buchanan, also Dickinson counties in Virginia, and for Mingo and Logan counties in West Virginia. And speaking of those counties, we do have a flash flood warning in place for parts of Mingo and Logan counties that will last until 11:30 this evening. So we are watching out for another heavy rain threat over the next little bit there as more showers and storms are on the way. A tornado watch remains in effect until 9 o'clock this evening, but that could be let go a little bit early as the severe weather threat is set to fade away later this evening. More showers and more windy weather on the way tomorrow before sunshine is set to return by this weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Police are investigating a murder in Lee County, Virginia. Virginia State Police were notified of the incident just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Officials later discovered a man was dead in a wooded area near some ATV trails. That was along Valley Springs Road in the Rose Hill community. The man's body was taken to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. His name has not been released. A London man is behind bars after police say he tried to get away from them. Police say 20-year-old Treston Webb was driving his motorcycle faster than 100 miles per hour. After Webb noticed an officer behind him, he accelerated and tried to get away. Webb ended up going through parts of Jackson and Owsley counties. He was later taken into custody after a brief struggle. Webb was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. 3 months ago, Senator David Yates filed Senate Bill 99, also known as Hadleys Law. The bill would provide exceptions like for rape and incest to Kentucky's abortion ban. Since he filed, Senator Yates says it's never been assigned to a committee. Now he's filing what's called a discharge petition. Mariah Congito breaks down what this means for the bill's potential future.
But the General Assembly has refused to even hear the law.
Senator David Yates says he feels like this bill has been deliberately delayed. He says the bill should have the chance to be debated and voted on.
It is absolutely wrong for the state of Kentucky to take away any level of choice over what happens next with their bodies.
Hadley's Law is named after Hadley Duval, a rape survivor. The bill would provide exceptions in the state's near-total abortion ban for rape and incest, women with non-viable pregnancies, and when a woman's health is in jeopardy, but not necessarily in imminent danger.
We know that as we delay, we continue to accumulate victims without any recourse.
Senator Yates says he feels like he didn't have any choice but to file a discharge petition. It's a procedure that allows a senator to petition to bring legislation to the full floor for a vote.
It will require that senators vote on whether or not this bill has been unduly held up in committee and not given the opportunity to be heard or come to the floor.
Hadley stood by Senator Yates today, as we've seen her do since the bill was introduced. She says she's disappointed it hasn't been assigned because it's a common sense bill.
It should receive a vote. Kentuckians deserve to know where their elected leaders stand on this issue. How could you choose to not hear out the bill, but you won't give us our choice?
On the opposition, David Walls with the Family Foundation says it's sad to see this, quote, last-minute political stunt by Democrats in support of resuming abortion in Kentucky. He says in part, the calls by the pro-abortion movement to re-legalize killing preborn children should be flatly rejected. Senator Yates says he's not naive to believe this bill is a guarantee. He says it's a hard vote for a lot of people, but it's an important one. Mariah Conjito, WKYT.
There are just 2 days left in the legislative session, tomorrow and Monday. For almost a year, UK healthcare workers have been advocating for House Bill 31. It provides at-home blood testing machines to Medicaid patients on blood thinners. Medicaid patients that are on blood thinners usually have to make a weekly trip to the doctor's office. But with the passing of this bill, those patients will be able to use machines at home that can test their blood.
Here's a machine that a diabetic uses to check their blood sugar, and that's very similar to what these home INR machines look like. Medicaid is state to state, and so I hope that since Kentucky has done this, other states will follow suit, and Kentucky can kind of be the model for the rest of the country to give patients access to this great monitoring system.
Amanda Crabtree says that now that House Bill 31 has been signed by Governor Beshear, those Medicaid patients could be receiving their at-home machines as soon as this summer. Governor Andy Beshear signed 144 bills into law this session, including Senate Bill 111, which was supported by a former UK basketball player. That bill ensures those with a stuttering issue have the ability to afford speech therapy. Governor Beshear welcomed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist at his Team Kentucky update today to discuss the bill. Kidd-Gilchrist thanked leaders in Frankfort for their support.
I made a commitment to UK, but also the state, and I'm fortunate enough to help the state and also adults like myself who stutter in the future.
Gilchrist provided his own story of overcoming a stutter in support of the bill. Gilchrist says he's not just a national champion, but a person who tried to make an impact in this state. Also from the Team Kentucky update, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman said initial numbers indicate more than 2.5 million individual bets were placed in the state during the men's NCAA basketball tournament. Coleman said in part, quote, in just 7 months, sports wagering tax revenue is already beating predictions, and it continues to be an entertainment source Kentuckians enjoy. Online discussions between Kentucky and Baylor fans about Scott Drew's future at UK has left some fans at odds. In Rockcastle County, Broadhead Elementary School Secretary Tyler Holman has been engaged with the craziness of the coaching carousel. Holman got into it with HGTV star Chip Gaines. The exchange between the two got heated, but later turned wholesome. Holmes says these past few days show how passionate the UK fan base is.
I think the Big Blue Nation is hands down the best fans in the country. We're crazy in a good way because we care. This means a lot to us.
After the interaction, Holman says he's trying to make good with Gaines by sending him some Big Blue goodies. Drew also announced earlier today that he will remain in Texas for the upcoming season. Nursing students at UVA Wise are getting the chance to learn in a newly renovated building. WYMT's RJ Johnson has more.
$16.6 million went towards the rededication of Dunn Pippin and John C. Wiley Hall at the University of Virginia at Wise. Senior Sarah Slimp knows all too well the importance of nursing.
In nursing, we are taking care of patients. People's lives are placed in our hands, so it's definitely important that we are confident in our abilities.
In their old building, Junior Greta Peterson says it was at times difficult to learn.
We were delegated to the basement of Darden, which is across the campus. And it was very cramped in there. We really only had one classroom, and our class, my current junior class, is one of the biggest.
Slimp says now they have the chance to have more rooms and resources available.
The sim labs, like in the old building, we had smaller sim labs with less mannequins, less beds, so we'd all go in, the whole class, and we'd have to take turns. But now there's so many beds where if someone needed to practice, you can usually just go in and find a place to practice.
Peterson says the new building feels like a hospital, preparing them for after graduation.
One, I feel like it's like a chance for us to be able to spread out and not feel so cramped. But we also now have I feel like we're actually in a hospital with this room, and that's amazing because it really translates to actual practicums. Like getting the clinical experience at school is so nice because it prepares for what we're going to do in the hospital.
In Wise, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Nursing instructor Summer Buckmeyer says investing in the next generation of nurses is important, especially in areas seeing shortages of healthcare professionals.
We are tracking some more showers and storms as we go into this evening, but some cooler air is on the way for tonight, also for Friday. Your forecast after this break.